What's up, y'all? This is Driven by Justin. Today we're going to be going over how to replace the speedometer cable on an NA Miata. So first we're going to begin by parking the Miata on a level surface, preferably with the front end jacked up and on stands or on a ramp like how we have it. Then once you do that, you're going to remove the lower dash panel to gain access to the back of the instrument cluster. To do this, you're going to remove the 4 screws on the bottom side of the clamshell, as well as the 2 screws holding the instrument hood. And then you'll shimmy the hood off, and then once you do that, you'll be able to access the 4 screws holding the actual gauge or instrument cluster in place. Once you have those 4 screws holding the instrument cluster in place off, you'll want to gently shimmy the instrument gauge forward. Then you'll disconnect the speedometer cable as well as the 2 other cables connected. In the hood, you're going to locate where the speedometer cable feeds into the actual interior of the car, as well as where it feeds down to the transmission. Once you're at the transmission end of the car, the cable is going to be screwed into the transmission. You're going to want to use a wrench here to unscrew it and then gently pull the cable out of the transmission. And then once the cable is out, you'll be able to feed it back up through the engine bay and then also out of the firewall. Be sure you don't snag it on any components, as there are several clamps holding it in place. Next, we're going to feed our new speedometer cable through the firewall. We did this by initially feeding a thin copper wire through and wrapping that around the speedometer cable just to make it easier to snake it through. Once you have the speedometer cable connected on the actual instrument gauge, then you'll be able to snake it down to the transmission, making sure you reconnect those clamps, and then you'll tighten it back up with a wrench, but don't over tighten it. For reconnecting the speedometer cable instrument cluster, you'll just want to reconnect the connectors, put those 4 screws back, put the hood back on with the 2 screws, and then the clamshell with 4. For final checks and testing, you'll want to reconnect the battery, start the car, and give it a test drive to make sure the speedometer and odometer are working as they should.